Yeah, I'm gonna um agree pretty strongly with what CH was saying, and that's like my overall perspective on like tying up Israeli conflict with Ukraine conflict and conflicts in Africa and in Asia. And yeah, I'd say that there's like I I see a certain pattern emerging in like the post-colonial era where there's like because there was a in the beginning of the colonial expansion there was a clash of civilizations, and they were very old civilizations that crashed with a very recent civilization, which was the European, basically, and they were really recent because they were changing. You know, Europe is an old civilization, but it was changing very rapidly, so it wasn't like a traditional civilization. It was a progressive civilization, and so that progressiveness gave it an upper hand technologically to sort of crush practically all the ancient civilizations, and that's where it achieved world hegemony. But yeah, like in America, they wrecked the original civilizations of this territory, and they haven't been able to organize since. Then came Asia, and Asia was pretty wrecked, but Asia had a much more cohesive culture, and it survived the colonialism better, like with more cultural integrity. I mean, you didn't lose 90% of your population like America. And so it's revived, you know, in the late 20th century. Um, Great parts of Asia progressed tremendously and adapted to the globalized world. Then came Africa. After Asia came Africa, and Africa is still wrecked. And then the last one was Middle East, when the fall of the Ottoman Empire at the beginning of the 20th century. And so what we're seeing now is like, from my perspective, is a resurgence of, of ancient civilizations that sort of weathered the storm of the European expansion, and are now reorganizing to adapt to this new historical period. The cultural identity is sufficiently robust so that they can learn from the progress of the European uh, culture and maintain a certain level of identity that gives them sort of profound memory, which is wisdom and foresight. And what I see about the Western civilization is that their progressiveness gave them a technological advantage, but too much cultural instability, and that's why it's falling apart right now. And so yeah, what we're seeing is basically that ancient civilizations are organizing amongst each other with the technology and experience of the 20th century, and entering the 21st century in a sort of coup d'état worldwide. But the key to this is that since yeah, the USA and Europe are in such disarray, it's super dangerous to jumpstart them. So most of the strategy is going to be a contention and a creep, a mission creep around strategic interests, both economically and diplomatically, of the ruling hegemony, of the Western hegemony. And yeah, so it's going to be really interesting how it hopefully landing into oblivion. Let's see if they can pull it off.